Hello everybody, my name is Clifford. I am CM Spray Art. If you follow me on Facebook, thank you very much. I appreciate the support. If not, you can find me on Facebook as CM, the two letters CNM Spray Art, same as YouTube. So I wanted to do these videos to help those who are just starting, and I wanted to go through the arsenal that you're going to need or use. You know, there's certain things you don't need that you're going to do just fine without. And the top 10 things that I've learned in the time I've been doing this. Some people are going to agree with me, some people are not, and that's okay. Everybody's going to have their own way of doing things, their own way of looking at things. Personally, these are the top 10 things that I've learned that have kept me going and enjoying the art form. We'll go over the rules that I've implemented into myself, and then we will go over the arsenal that I have. And, you know, in future videos, we'll go over things that everybody wants to learn, such as planets, tips and tricks on how to use the paint, how to use the tools, ways to do mountains, suns, all that good stuff, all the fun stuff that everybody wants to learn. And I'm going to try to keep the videos as short as possible. My biggest thing was I hated super detailed videos. So let's go right into my top 10 things that I find as most important. Number one is you don't have to be an artist to do spray paint art. You don't have to have a background. You don't have to do any of that. If you look at a video and say, you know, but I have no artist background, I don't even know how to draw a stick figure, you know what? That's fine. I have no education in art. Before I did this, I didn't paint. I did some charcoal drawing when I first started, and that was about it. The more you practice, the more you learn, the more you're going to have fun with it. And that's kind of the biggest thing, is having fun. Number two, accept constructive criticism. When you post online, you're going to have a lot of people that are going to want to offer advice, tell you, hey, look, this is why this looks this way. They can tell you why things look this way, what you did not necessarily wrong, but what you can do to have more efficiency in your artwork. You're also going to have those people who tell you that you're just doing things wrong, do it their way, and you can listen to them, you can don't listen to them, it's solely up to you. There are those going to be who say that if you don't do things a specific way, you're not a spray paint artist. Ignore it, it's not true. As long as you are enjoying it, you're using spray paint, you're learning techniques, you're doing it all, you're a spray paint artist. That's all there is to it. Number three, do not compare yourself to other artists. There's going to be artists that have been doing this a long time and they've got their technique on point and everything looks clean and concise, and comparing yourself to that, especially right off the bat, is only going to frustrate you and bring you down. Know that you're learning, know that you're going forward, and eventually you'll get your technique down to a point to where everything looks fantastic. Number four, don't try to be like another artist. You can use other artists to learn. You can use other artists to try to manipulate their paintings or copy their paintings just to learn. But you're eventually going to find your own style. And an artist's style is like their signature. Yours is not going to be like everybody else's. Eventually, you're going to find your own style and how you enjoy to do things and how they come out the way you want them to. That doesn't mean that's going to be another artist's way of looking at things, just yours. So don't be another artist, be you. You are an artist, you enjoy it. Number five, there are no set guidelines to how spray painting has to be done. Yes, there are more effective ways of doing things. There are more effective tools and ways to get what you're looking for, and other people can give you that stuff. But how you see things is going to be how you see things. The result you want, you're going to find the best way to get that result. Not the result somebody else wants, the result you want. It is your art, your journey through this. Number six, you will never know everything about spray paint art. Nobody, if someone tells you they know everything, don't listen. They may know a lot, learn from them. But understand things change, new techniques come about. You're going to see a video and go, wow, how did you do that? And, you know, the old ways of doing things, the new ways of doing things, you can combine them. Like I said, create your own style. But to know everything, it defeats the purpose of why I enjoy the art form. I enjoy the art form because there's always new things to learn. If you know everything, it's eventually going to get boring. Number seven, if your goal is to make spray paint art your sole income right off the bat, then you're doing it for the wrong reasons. Do it because you enjoy it. Do it because you have a passion for it. Do it to have fun. Don't do it to make money. Sell your art? Absolutely. I find selling your art absolutely rewarding, and it helps me continue painting. Helps me afford to continue painting. That brings me to number 8. It can be extremely addicting. There's a lot of colors out there. And at the end of the day, it can be expensive. Yes, some of the tools are very inexpensive. And once you have the tools, you can replace them whenever. But the paint, even say Rust-Oleum, anywhere from $3.50 to $4.50 a can, when you've bought 200 cans, it comes out to a pretty penny. So don't let that discourage you. You don't need much to start out. It's just eventually when you look back at how much you spent, you're gonna be like, this is an expensive art form. Don't criticize for yourself. As long as you're enjoying it, have fun. Number 9, don't be afraid to sell your art. You are your biggest critic. You will find every mistake and thing you could have done differently in every single painting you have. Every single one. Even if it looks phenomenal, you're still going to see every mistake. Other people are going to see a beautiful piece of art and they're going to want to buy it. And it happens. Do live events. Don't raise your prices so high to where, you won't sell them. Know where you are, your local economy, and, you'll learn what people are willing to spend and what people aren't. But don't sell yourself short as well. The purpose I sold my art form to beginning was to be able to afford to continue painting, to be able to afford more poster board, afford more paint, because you're going to go through a lot of things like black, white, and clear. Those 3 things, those 3 colors, you're going to go through on a massive scale, especially white and clear. You're going to go through a lot of it. And number 10 is the absolute most important thing, is have fun. You're going to get yourself frustrated at times. Just remember, the whole purpose of it is to have fun. It's not a competition, and you're not doing it to be the best. You're doing it to have fun. You're doing it to make art. You're doing it to give yourself self-care, if you will. To me, it's the ultimate form of self-care. Having fun is the only way you're going to continue painting. And time's going to fly. Eventually you're going to go, oh my God, I've been doing this 3, 4, 5 years, and all that. So now that we've gone through the 10 things that I find most important, let's go on and look at the arsenal that we are going to use. And then, in the next video, we'll actually start painting. But I thought that these kind of things were the most important things. These are things that I wish I was told when I first started. And these are things that I live by now. Even, I've only been doing this a few years, and I don't find myself to be an expert in any sense of the term. I still learn from some artists who've been doing this years. I learned from artists who started yesterday. It's like, okay, well, how did you do that? So just remember, you're always learning, you're always having fun, and you'll enjoy this. All right, guys, let's go out to the garage and look at the arsenal that we've got. All right, so let's go over your arsenal. Start out with, it's extremely important that you have some kind of a respirator. I know right now, with everything going on, it's really hard to find one, so, do the best you can to protect yourself. After a while, this stuff gets into your lungs and it can do a lot of damage. Number 2 is paint. So I started out with Rust-Oleum and I use it constantly. I did switch to some Montana 94 recently. The biggest difference is for me is this is gloss, so it's going to come out looking a lot shinier, and this is matte. But for me, it's the pressure. So you've got your high pressure cans. These are meant for, high coverage, a lot of paint come out. And then you got your low pressure cans. When I'm using canvas, I prefer the low pressure cans over the high pressure cans. Some sponge, whatever sponge you can find. You can rip it, tear it, cut it however you want it. You've got your palette knives. This is the kind of the typical one you're going to see a lot of people using. And it's extremely important to have one of these in your arsenal. I use this right here to sign my name. At the bottom, it comes out a lot cleaner. It just depends on your preference. Some paint brushes. A lot of people will You know, you're going to have a lot of people criticize a lot of things that you do or don't do when it comes to your paint. Just remember, how you choose to do it is how you choose to do it. How your paintings come out is how your paintings come out. You are the artist. There's no right or wrong way of doing anything. Some weights, anything you can use to weigh down, some stencils. They can be rocks. They can be just about anything. I started out using rocks. Went to buying some bolts. You get your newspaper, magazine paper for texture, plastic bags. I personally prefer the plastic bags over the newspaper, but it just really depends on what I'm doing, on which one I'm using. You've got your sponges, you've got your small, you've got your big. You can get nice big fat ones. They're good for mountains, trees, whatever you need them for. A straight edge. You can buy this at any hardware store, roughly $5-6. Gloves. In some of the videos, you're going to see me where I'm not using gloves. And then I'll do another video about the best way to clean the paint off of your hands that I have found. Some masking tape. Masking tape is one of the most important things I have in my arsenal, because when you're painting, if your poster board is not set and stuck to the table, when you try to texture anything, it's going to lift up. You're going to make some mistakes. You're going to get yourself really frustrated, and it's just best to just tape down your poster board. And of course, you've got your lids. You can use any size. The best ones are the ones with the straight edge. They can be lids. They can be, the paint can lids. Paint can lids work great. They can be, Tupperware lids, anything that you can find that's round that works. One of the videos we'll go over why it's better for straight edge, the round edge, which ones you can use the round edge for. You're going to learn that trying everything is going to be the most fun of this. I prefer the turntable. You don't have to have the turntable, but it's best off that you have something flat that you can move, especially since the poster board is taped down to it. Whether you just want to buy a square piece of wood that's easy to twist and turn and move around, that's for you. But just a table, eventually, whether you're doing it in the sun or not, the table is going to warp, and it's best off to just make sure you have a flat piece of wood. The table, I built it. I've got a smaller piece of wood on the other side that I use for smaller paintings, and you can buy the rotary in between. When it comes down to drying your paintings, there are multiple different ways, and you're going to see a lot of people using the fire, which the fire is great. It's good for effect, to your oohs and your ahs, but unless you are good with it and you are in a spot where catching something on fire isn't going to damage your entire house, then go ahead. But if you are, I use a good blow dryer. Just give it a little bit, or if you're in direct sunlight, just let it sit for a minute. It's not a race. When you get to the point to where you want to do your public paintings, you want to look fast, you want to look clean. That's good. The fire's great for that because it's a nice quick. But when you're at home and you've got time and you want it to look good, you don't have to use the fire. If you choose to, you choose to. But personally, I'm not a big fan of the fire. The fire takes a lot of paint. You've got your oohs and your ahs, but it really isn't as effective as just taking your time. You can use things as, brushes to clean off any kind of powder you have. When you're using fluorescent paints or glow-in-the-dark powder, this works great to get off the excess. That way you don't have just glow everywhere. You can get it off the excess wherever you need it. But these are the arsenals. These are the tools I use on a daily basis. Depending on what you need them for, you can get your paint pens. On canvas, I use paint pens to sign because the canvas is not exactly smooth. So using a palette knife or a poker is just going to catch onto the cloth, and that's no good. And of course, your poster board. Poster board is good for more than just to paint on. You can have extra pieces of poster board. Extra pieces of poster board are good. You can, use them for, fold them, use them for meteors. You can rip them and use them to, put your paint on. You can do mountains. You can do all kinds of stuff. And of course, for stenciling, you can create your clouds. And we'll go over this in another video of stenciling. But I think the important thing is to go over the arsenal and some good rules and tricks that are going to help you lower your frustration level with it, and remember to just have fun, especially when you're posting online in Facebook groups or YouTube or however you're going to put them online. You know, remembering that you're there for the love of the paint is very important. How you choose to do things is going to be 100% up to you. Nobody is going to do it exactly the way you do it once you get into it and you figure out your rhythm, your techniques, and all that. All right, so have fun, guys. We'll move on to some next videos, and we'll learn some planets, trees, mountains, landscapes. We'll go through it all. And if you guys have any questions, you go ahead and put it in the comments. If there's anything that you want me to go over, or you have any questions, just go ahead and feel free to ask, and I will answer them the best I can. All right, guys, have fun.